Episode 7.
Yay, we made it.
I think we say that every time because every time it feels amazing.
You know, I mean, it's a victory. Also, too, just being super real with our schedules and how many plates we're both spinning right now. It does feel like a victory, Hannah.
It does.
The time, the attention, the spoons, and our electronics are working correctly. It really is, you know, like all the stars have aligned.
Yes. What are we listening to?
Oh,
what are they listening to?
I was like, I don't know, Hannah, what are you talking about? I was like, it's your week to prepare a topic, babe.
No. Oh, I know. It's your turn to introduce the podcast, though.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mickey Atkins.
I'm Hannah Lehman.
And you're listening to Thanks We Hate It. This is episode 7. We are almost in double digits now. Thanks for coming, everybody.
That's exciting. I didn't even think about it that way.
Look at us trucking
Very
along.
exciting. Thank you guys for coming. How are you doing?
You know, I would be better if my cat would be not up in my grill all the time.
Is it Echelon?
Oh, of course it is. She's sitting right here because
she loves you.
And
hi, Echelon.
You know, I love her too. I love her so much. But also getting cat hair in my mouth while I'm trying to work is not my favorite. Please go lay down, babe.
It's not ideal.
Okay. You're also going to step on my keyboard. Thank you. Generally speaking, I'm doing okay. I've had a migraine all day, and so I am trucking through. I got an emergency coffee. This is how you know I'm going through it. It's because I really don't like stopping at Starbucks, and I got a Starbucks today. But I'm hanging in there. How are you?
I'm good. I've had just nonstop. Today my mom and I had to drive around to do some errands for the Colorado trip. So we drove around for almost a couple hours and and I had my birthday party last night though. I took the day off yesterday, which was very challenging to do. But we did the birthday party. It was so fun. They got me a cake. I'll post some pictures on Instagram of it, and my friends sang me happy birthday.
Aww.
And they the restaurant cut the cake for us and brought it out with a candle for me, and it was so sweet.
That's
I know.
Cute. Good.
And
I'm
then
glad.
so yeah, it was fun and it was chill. So we went to this other bar called Dreamland in Fremont, which is a neighborhood in Seattle.
Cute.
And it was in Dreamland, it's exactly what it sounds like. It is kind of like it's a bar, but it's got disco balls down a hallway, and it's very colorful. It is kind of like stepping into a dream. And so it was really fun. We got the whole lounge area to ourselves. And then a couple friends surprised me. I have one couple in our friend group they're both doctors. And the guy of them who I've known since we were in college, we've been friends for a really long time. He's in residency right now to become a surgeon. So he's very busy. Yeah. And I was like, are you guys coming to my birthday party? When I saw them last week, and they were like, no, probably not. And then they surprised me later that night and showed up, and then just showed up where we were. It was very sweet. So yeah, it was really nice.
Good. I'm glad your birthday party was fun.
Yeah, my friend drove me to and from my apartment, so I was nice. I got a DD, and so I was able to drink. My parents took Winnie for the whole night, so I got to come home and crash without having to worry about her being at home by herself and
being stressed.
It was just fun. Yeah, if people want to look at the pictures, they're on my Instagram. However, this is coming out a few weeks after we record it, so they'll have been on my Instagram for a while. So other than that, I'm just trekking along. Yeah. Really excited. Once I'm back from Colorado, things are going to be a lot better for me. This month is still going to be really busy, but I just feel trips really get in the way of stuff. Yeah. So Echelon, just see her tail.
I'm hoping that
are all 4 of your babies girls? All 4 of your animals?
Yes.
They're all girls? That makes it so easy to remember.
I know. We did not do that on purpose either. It just kind of happened that way. But yeah, I'm hoping if I ignore Echelon for long enough, though, that she will hold still. It's not so much that I even mind her being in here. It's the walking back and forth for me, because she wants to walk on top of my keyboard and also to touch my microphone with her fur, which obviously is not great. So I need you to lay down. I'll give you pets if you lay down. Thank you. Anyways.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Cats like can't. Cats get in that flirtatious state where they want to just be like pacing.
Yes.
And like flipping their tail at you and giving you moon eyes and being like, why would you do whatever you're doing?
Yes.
Because have you seen me? I am so cute.
Yeah, high key, I think she has anxiety too, because she just gets really upset when I don't let her in the room with me. So, she just, you know, she needs to see me. She needs to make sure that I'm still alive, I guess. Otherwise, she's going to have a meltdown.
Well, yeah, you've told me when you try to film and like when you're doing live streams, she's kind of special.
Yeah.
She's like crying outside the door and like whipping the door. Like, I don't understand why you wouldn't want me in there. Like,
personally offended.
I don't understand. Have you seen me? I'm adorable.
Also, there's another thing on my mind actually before we get into this week's topic. Do we have space? Do you mind if I chit chat?
Yeah, go for it.
I am working on a project right now with Aaron. You know what it is. I haven't announced it yet. I don't know if I'll have announced it by the time this goes up. But regardless.
Is this the thing that you're so busy with in June?
Yes.
That you like made a kind of a post about but haven't announced it yet?
Yeah. And so I was shopping for that today. And I am so fucking annoyed. I complained about this a little while ago about the like sad beige everything thing.
Oh yeah.
And I was thinking about it today because I was getting worked up while I was at the store because I'm trying to find things that are colorful or like, you know, things that are like fitting the color palette that I need. And quite honestly, I'll settle for any color at this point. And I was thinking about it, and I realized it's not that I have an issue with like the sad beige everything or like people having a beige aesthetic. Like I don't really care about that.
Yeah.
Because you were talking about how like you like it, right? And I was like, well, like, does it really matter? And like, no, the thing that upsets me, Hannah, is that because so many people want beige and white and cream and bone and black, is that there's no fucking color in any of the stores.
Right.
I literally walked through Home Goods, World Market, the thrift store, and At Home today. And I literally found two things that weren't like, you know, two things that like fit the brief, and one of them I'm gonna have to repaint on my own anyway, so it still wasn't even the right color. It was just like the right shape.
Have you tried Wayfair?
Yes, but the thing is that I like being able to see the color and the texture of stuff in person.
In person. Yeah.
I usually what ends up happening is that I just buy all of the shit online anyways because I just can't find anything that like fits. So that's probably where I'm headed next is Wayfair and Amazon. Honestly, fuck Jeff Bezos, but god damn it, if Amazon is fucking useful. Especially when like I made a concerted effort to go buy the shit in person and like look what happened. I walked 5,000 steps to get nothing. I'm very upset about it.
Did you say, I forget what stores you just said. Did you try like TJ Maxx, Marshalls?
I tried Home Goods. There is only one TJ Maxx like within driving distance of my house. And because the other one's on the other side of town and I don't like driving. Yeah. And that one is closing. So there's like nothing left in it.
Oh, but you couldn't find anything in Home Goods? I feel like Home Goods has a lot of colorful stuff.
That's what I'm saying. Like people keep talking about that like strawberry side table and all of these cute little like fruity items and all this fun stuff at Home Goods. And I'm like, donde?
Where is it?
Because I can't find it. I'm so frustrated. I feel like my Home Goods is the only one that doesn't have cool, quirky, fun little silly things because I want all of the silly stuff and I can't find it.
Home Goods near me is like exploding with stuff.
I love that for you.
I know. Sorry.
You should start
if I'm shopping there and I find something that you might like, I'll send you a picture of it. 100%. And if you want it, I can send it to you.
100%. I'll just drive all the way up to Seattle to come pick it up from you.
No, I'll send it to you. It's fine. I'll ship it.
And honest to God, it might be cheaper to drive than to ship shit like that. But yeah, that's it.
Quite possibly.
That's my gripe for today.
Have you noticed, I'm just curious if you are aware of the fact that you have no idea what we're talking about today?
Yeah, no, I have no idea what we're going into.
I know. I was waiting to see if you were going to ask me before we started so that you had a heads up, but you didn't. No. So I was like, and I wasn't going to tell you anyway because I wanted it to be a surprise.
Oh. Okay, well, I love surprises. Please tell me.
I know. I think I'm actually really excited about this episode. So I actually have two things to talk about.
Okay.
If we have time for the second one, I'll save the more lighthearted one for the second one.
Okay.
But I am curious if you have been paying attention at all to this this crazy adoption scam that has been blowing up on YouTube. No. There's a lot that goes into it.
Oh, no.
It's a really interesting one because it's not anybody doing anything. I mean, obviously the scammer is not great. Like that's terrible, but it's just, there's like a lot of sides and angles to this. So, okay, I'll just explain to you what's going on. Okay. By the time this episode goes out, people have been talking about that for weeks, but hey, that's our life. Yeah, so
it is what it is.
So there is this family on, or they're like, it's a couple on YouTube named Della Vlogs. Okay. And it's a husband-wife couple. They're in their like mid-20s, right? Sure. The girl, Bella, says that she's like 26 on her Instagram. Okay. So they're pretty young. But at least, I mean, I think pretty young just because I'm 32 and unmarried. So
okay.
It just feels young to me.
No, yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. Like 26 is young. I just think it's funny that you said 32 and unmarried, as if that impacts how old you are.
I just mean like it's okay. Let me explain this part. So the main premise of this entire story is that these two have been trying to have a baby. Okay. They've been trying to get pregnant for a long time. They've been like documenting their journey with IVF. Trying to get pregnant, and they're struggling with infertility and they can't get it. Okay. And I think the reason that it just feels so young to me is because it's like you're only 26 and
fair point.
You're like, which I know is like not fair of me because that could be just as valid as somebody older struggling with infertility. Like I realize that, but it's like a little bit, it's just, I think a little bit unrelatable to me, I'll say, to be like,
that's valid.
Only in your mid 20s and already like dealing with something like that. I feel like usually it's people in their later 30s that are typically dealing, but I'm sure infertility doesn't discriminate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway. So they've been trying to have a baby. They can't.
Okay.
So they announced recently that they're going to adopt.
Okay.
And they specifically they were like holding out through their adoption agency. They wanted a newborn. Okay. They were not open to older children being adopted, which a lot of people have issues with. A lot of people think that that's like, that like, and my personal take on that is that if you're going to adopt a baby, like it's the most important part is that the child gets a good home, you know, and like, it's not my business how they go about it. Right.
It's valid. Yeah.
So they say that they're adopting on YouTube, and they announce if anybody, like, since they have such a wide audience, they have about 1.5 million subscribers, 1.5 million subscribers on YouTube. Wow. And this just, how I took you on a ride with Ken Wax the other day? Like, it's gonna be like that. Like, I'm really excited. I'm so excited to hear your reaction to this because there's gonna be a plot twist. Okay. There's gonna be a plot twist, and other people are not talking about this. I haven't seen a lot of people talking about this, and I just, plot twist incoming. Okay, so they announced that they're adopting.
Yes.
They go and they say in that video at the end, they say, hey, if anybody in our audience, if anybody knows somebody who is pregnant and wants to adopt out their baby and is interested in finding a loving home for their baby, please let us know, Instagram or otherwise.
What in the parasocial? But okay, none of my business, I guess.
That part, trust me, there's plenty more to judge in this story. Don't even worry about that.
Fair enough.
But a lot of people have issue with that too. Like, I've seen some really cruel comments just before we started recording of people going like, if you're going through Instagram to find a baby, then you shouldn't be parents. And that just seems cruel. That's a lot in my personal opinion, because again, it's like, That's quite the judgment. Like, that's a broad judgment to make on somebody that you don't know.
That's also a really hurtful thing to say to someone who struggled with infertility.
I know.
You know?
Like, right. That's such a good point.
Because, like, I don't agree with that choice, to be clear, but also that does seem like a sort of below the belt comment to make.
Yeah, it's cruel. It's just cruel, needlessly cruel.
That
would
hurt my feelings a lot, I feel.
I don't see people saying this to them directly. It's more like the videos about them that people have these opinions. Okay. Because, you know, as the internet is, people don't say things to other people's face.
About them, not to them.
So this woman reaches out to them on Instagram, sends them a DM, says, "Hey, I'm pregnant with twin girls, and I'm looking for somebody to adopt them." And they can't believe it because they've said it in passing before, but like their dream would be 2 girls, twin girls. They were open to other babies, but it was like seemed just weirdly perfect. So they start DMing with this woman and getting to know her more. And she is being legit and dead serious. Like, I want you guys to adopt the twins that I'm pregnant with. She says, trigger warning for this next part, but it won't be detailed. She said that the way that she got pregnant was not consensual. And so there was a story, you know, there was a reason why she wanted them to go up for adoption. Sure. So this couple goes through everything. They're getting updates from her about her doctor's appointments. They're flying to her to take classes with her, you know, like the birthing classes. Yeah. Because they want her to be really involved. She wants them to be really involved because she wants to get to know the parents that are going to take her babies. And they're spending a ton of money on not on the mom, to be clear, but on tickets to go see her. The most money that has been exchanged that we know of is them giving the potential mom gift cards to go buy baby clothes. Right? But she tells them, you know, they've seen them in person. She tells them, you know, you guys need to get a nursery ready because twins are notorious for being early.
Valid.
So this couple gets an entire nursery ready for twin girls. They have a gender reveal party for their friends and family because even though they know the gender, they have a giant party with their friends and family to celebrate the fact that they found out they're having 2 girls. They're getting updates from the mom via text and DMs about how specifics, very detailed things about tests that she's getting, blood draws she's getting, where she's getting the blood draws, what they're testing for, and everything like that. She's sending them. Yeah.
So
go ahead.
That you said that they flew out to where she was to take classes with her, right? So they like physically saw her in person. Did she look pregnant?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, please continue.
Yes. She has a bump.
Okay, thank you.
She's sending them sonograms of twins. She has sonograms. Everything seems very legit. It's up to the point where she's going to give birth soon. She tells them they have an entire room in their house ready for 2 babies to bring home. She's never pregnant. She was never pregnant at all.
I had a feeling that
not
that's
only
where this
that,
was going.
I mean, that's not the twist. That's not even the twist.
Oh no.
No. That's not even this goes further. This goes deeper. She's not pregnant. When they see her in person, she bought baby bumps off of Amazon's. You can go onto websites and create fake sonograms. You can buy fake sonograms online.
That's weird that
and
exists.
Then they find out. The reason they found this out is because another couple that wanted to adopt messaged them to tell them that she was doing the same thing to them.
Oh my God.
So she's been doing this to multiple families at the same time, telling them that she's pregnant with twins and she's looking for somebody to adopt her twins. So that's how they found out, because all these people were like, another family came forward and was like, I don't want you to get swindled. And she was doing the same thing to me. So they find this picture of her. They find a picture of the mom that she sent them to be like, she's giving them constant updates about her life. And they noticed that she looked not pregnant in the picture, but she explained she was only a few weeks pregnant at that time. So like she wasn't going to be showing yet, but that she's wearing a necklace that I believe the adoptive mom, I think it's her, had sent her months after she was supposed to be pregnant.
Oh, no.
So it's very obvious. There's another picture like this, and she swears that she's like, oh, I'm just sucking in. It's just the angle of it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's why you don't see a bump or whatever. So she's making up all this stuff, but everything was a lie. It's all fake.
Okay.
So understandably, they're devastated. Right?
Wow.
Like I'm devastated for them. Like, that's terrible. Even if like, I mean, I feel bad for anybody who gets scammed, even if it's like somebody that there was red flags everywhere. Like, you know, even if there's red flags, of course your hindsight is 2020. And I just also think I want to be compassionate about the fact that, well, yeah, it's easy for us to say, because we didn't go through it. And they, I think really, you know, they were so enmeshed and so trusting of this stranger. Yeah. And I think the other thing that is leaving everybody confused is why. Because they're not sending her thousands of dollars every month. That was my
confusion as well.
That's what everybody's confused about. And nobody knows. Nobody really knows yet, but it's like, why? Like, why do this to multiple family? You're maybe getting some gift cards for a baby clothes store where you can't get stuff for yourself anyway. Yeah. So is it literally just, so before I get to the twist and the rest of this, like, tell me your thoughts on that. I'm very curious to know your thoughts, like, as, just with your like mental health knowledge, like why, if you have any inkling, and I know we can only speculate, but like, is it a power trip? Is it, like, what do you think could possibly motivate somebody?
Honestly, I have no idea. Like, there's so many things that are running through my mind right now because, like, I am confused about why someone would do this without, like, the clear motive of getting paid a bunch of money for, like, the adoption, or, like, you know, like, in this arrangement, it's typical for someone to, like, make a lot of money, right? To have like your medical bills covered and like whatever.
And then disappear.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
they get the money. They're never pregnant. They disappear.
Yeah. I'm just confused about like why you would do that. Because also too, like, it's not lost on me how much effort and time someone must have had to put in to create fake sonograms, to buy a fake belly, to like fake all of these test results and like do all of this stuff when like the end result is like that you're not really getting anything of value. So it does seem like maybe it's a power thing or like a manipulation thing. Somebody who is like, I don't know, somebody who enjoys like the high of getting away with lying to someone. I'm not really sure. That's
all I can think of is that she is really, really enjoying the fact that she is making all of these families hopeful for something that she gets to take away.
And the other thing though that is confusing to me about this, I don't know, maybe this is going to be an unpopular take, but sure. I do feel a little bit weirded out by the like, we're going to parasocially reach out to our audience, connect with a stranger over Instagram, and then just like take them at face value that they're pregnant and just like agree to this arrangement. Also, like, I know nothing about this because I literally just have only heard what you just told me. But like, I am confused about like why someone would choose to do that. And like, did you guys even draw up legal paperwork or like, you know what I'm saying? Because like it feels like it's tiptoeing really close to human trafficking, which gives me the fucking ick. Like, I just don't. The other thing that like sticks out to me too is that like this decision that they made to like parasocially reach out to their audience and connect with someone over social media, whenever, like, it's, no one deserves to be scammed. No one deserves to be like subjected to something traumatizing, obviously. But I do also wonder like if they had done some of their own therapy to like process the grief of their infertility and all of that stuff, if they would have been more open to adopting like from the foster system or like through other means where like A, you're less likely to get scammed, but B, like you're not going to get your ideal baby, right? But like you are going to fulfill this dream of becoming a family and also provide a safe home to a child, you know, like I just like, I don't want to like they deserved it because that's fucked up. But like, I do feel some type of way about them doing this like boutique baby thing, you know, like because if those were real,
the only
people
part
too,
of
like,
your opinion
those
that
are
I'm
humans, you know.
Okay, editing Hannah popping in here really quick to interrupt past Hannah and Mickey's conversation. So I just want to, we recorded this a couple weeks ago when this was all coming out. And so there's been some development since then that I just want to make a quick note here that Mickey's opinion on this aged like fine wine because it is now coming out. And again, this is all speculation, but a lot of people are now kind of wondering if the way that they put out the documentaries and the gender reveal and everything like that, like, is it possible that they kind of probably didn't fabricate this whole story, but they kind of knew that the whole thing wasn't real, but they were doing it so they can make a big video about getting scammed for all the views. It's speculation, but a lot of people are coming out and kind of calling them out for an Instagram adoption, first of all, and second of all, using the whole thing to go viral. I don't really know either way, but I just wanted to, I do agree with Mickey that the whole, like, now that I've thought about it more, the whole, like, asking an Instagram audience for a baby is weird. And I just wanted to come in real quick and say that Mickey's instincts on this, mind you, this was the first time Mickey heard this story whatsoever. Like, she wasn't even aware of this before. And so her like initial instinct on the whole thing was spot on. So yeah, I just wanted to put that in there because like this conversation aged a little bit since we recorded it. Okay, back to past Hannah and past Mickey.
Right. Okay, I'm a little bit confused about like the close to human trafficking part. You mean if they had gotten babies out of this? You mean if they weren't scammed and they had gotten children off of random people from the internet? That feels like In what way is it like human? I guess I think of human trafficking as like sexual violence. So like what? I mean, can you like elaborate a little bit on that for those that don't know?
Yeah, like it just so yeah, I guess for those who aren't aware, human trafficking doesn't typically or like at least like the media portrayal of like human trafficking being a thing that happens to people in dark parking lots and that like that movie Taken, that's not actually like a fairly accurate representation of what human trafficking really looks like. There's really not a high chance that you're going to be abducted in like a gas station parking lot or something. More often, human trafficking is like marginalized or oppressed immigrant family who has very little financial resources that gets put in a situation by like a close person or a contact or whatever to say like, I can keep your kids safe if you just give them to me, give me money to like get your kids across the border or something, right? And actually, that's not the truth of what that person's going to do with those children, but like they're being taken advantage of essentially. And so there's like literal like a literal sale of human beings that takes place. Right. And so like that's what I mean, that like basically someone saying I'll sell you my baby via Facebook Marketplace gives me the fucking ick. I just don't feel like it pushes something like one of my buttons inside of me. I don't really know how to like articulate why. Yeah. But I think just because like the whole exchange when like boiled down to brass tacks feels like it's very close to saying if you know like give me gift cards or whatever, and like granted there wasn't a lot of money exchanged here, so like fair, but like essentially if you give me money or like you know help pay for my medical bills or whatever, I will essentially sell you this human being or these human beings. Just like,
how is that different than an adoption agency though?
I think it feels different to me because there's an agency who has a vested interest in ensuring the safety of the child or like children.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
That's fair.
And also too,
I just mean, I don't think you pay money for an adoption typically. I think you're paying for all the medical bills, but I don't think you can. I think technically, it is illegal to charge an actual fee for the child.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's what I mean though, that like, when it's through like an agency or like the foster to adopt situation, right? There's like checks and balances in place, and there are like trainings and like shit that you have to go through, right, to make sure that like the people who are adopting the child are safe. Because that's the other thing too, that like, granted, you know, I'm hoping, I would assume, right, that these people are safe people, but just like like, I don't know you, we know nothing about you, we like can't really verify that you're actually pregnant. And she knows
that's
nothing
a really
about
fair
them.
point.
She doesn't know that they're
Right.
safe people, you know, like,
Right.
how does she know that?
That's a very fair
she's
point.
not gonna like, they're not gonna traumatize those kids or something, you know, like, it's just like, I guess what I'm saying is it feels unregulated, you know?
I was going to say, when you're having, I mean, that's like an under the table adoption, like kind of. And if that is happening and there aren't government agencies, there could be an exchange of money that nobody knows about too. There could be.
Yeah.
So to be fair, I do know they had an adoption agency one way or another. I am not clear on whether this person was like went through their adoption agency. I heard some rumors that like they did want her to be connected to their adoption agency, but she was like resisting meeting the adoption agency
for obvious reasons.
And then shocking and stuff. So to be totally fair, like I agree with everything you said, like in general.
Yeah.
To be fair to this particular situation, I'm not positive. Like they might have been trying to get her through the adoption agency. I think the bigger question is the fact that they would definitely become family vloggers, and a lot of people felt like, again, this is so speculative though, like I don't know them as people. It's just that like, so I don't want to like, they're not bad. I would imagine they're not bad people or anything. It's just that a lot of people are then speculating, like it's kind of like that other, remember that other adopted child who was then returned for like literally behavioral issues. And I think people are kind of afraid that it's something like that where they want to make sure their channel, I mean, it's not that they don't want a kid, it's just that people worry that it's a benefit to having kids is getting to have content. Which, I don't know. I know some people do that. I don't know this particular family because I haven't been following them.
Yeah,
but
that's valid.
Do you want to know the twist? That might change your opinion on everything.
Oh, yeah. Please tell me.
You ready?
Yes.
Are you ready for this? Bella, the female, excuse me, the woman wife, in the wife. Her name, if you Google her name is Bella Weems Lambert. That's on her Instagram. Her Instagram's public. She is the founder and creator of Origami Owl, the MLM.
What?
Yup. She created Origami Owl when she was 14 years old, and she's 26 now. So she is the founder and creator of an active multi-level marketing network that nobody's talking about that part of the story. And let me tell you, the irony of her getting scammed was not lost on me.
I don't feel bad anymore.
If you haven't listened to our previous episode, you guys should go back and listen to our MLM episode if you guys are not sure what we're talking about. But I have done research on Origami. Origami Owl is a like straight up slimy MLM. She created it when she was 14.
Which is crazy.
Do you know how much money she probably makes?
Oh, just
as the creator
nuts.
of that?
I was wondering that too. I was like, God damn, they like somebody in that family is like a doctor or a lawyer, or like they just come from a well-to-do family because they're doing IVF at 26 in this economy. I was like, kind of wondering
this economy.
I was kind of wondering about how that was all happening, but that is all tracking now. I'm not.
Well,
gonna
they have
lie.
quite a few subscribers on YouTube too. But
yeah, that's fair. I know that this is like me being a human right now. I feel slightly less bad for them now because I'm just like,
I think that's what a lot of people would if people were talking about the fact. But see, I want to look at them separately. Like, again, they seem like sweet people, and I feel like terrible that I feel terrible that there's no way this was not devastating.
Yeah.
This was probably devastating. Traumatizing. Right.
Yeah.
But the irony of being, at least in my opinion, a scammer and the creator of an entire system of scamming young, vulnerable groups.
Yeah.
And then her getting scammed.
It also
Nobody else is talking about that part.
It makes me wonder if the person who scammed them did it because of who she is too. You know what I'm saying?
I have no idea.
I
have no idea. I doubt it because the other people she scammed didn't seem to be related.
Yeah.
To that. It seemed like she just does this, like, and obviously this isn't new. Other people do this all the time where they pretend like they're pregnant, and you know, it's easy to fake all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's wild, but it's like, what if you're meeting the mom that's going to adopt your babies, and she's like, can I touch and listen to your stomach? I would do that if I had a surrogate. And like,
I don't disagree.
I would want.
Sorry, to be clear, that facial reaction was to the idea of someone that I don't know touching me, not because that's like an inappropriate thing.
I would never do it without asking. I would never touch anybody without asking.
Yeah.
I've done that when I have pregnant friends too. I'm like, I know it's weird. If you're okay with it, if you're comfortable with it,
well,
I would love to touch your belly.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Like, that's a very common thing to do.
But if I was going to adopt that child, I totally, fair.
Yeah.
But if I had a surrogate and I was going to literally adopt that child, I would ask them. Of course, they could say no, like that's totally fair. Yeah. But if I would ask them if they were willing to give me their child, you'd think they'd be willing to let me just like put my ear up to their belly and like kind of listen to, like, to me, that's like something I would ask. It would be okay with them. And it's just like, what's your plan in that situation? Mm-hmm. Like, what's your plan? It would be very obvious that the part that they're touching is not warm, like the rest of you.
Well, the other thing that's confusing to me too is that it's really common for twins to be born preterm, like you were saying, and to have medical complications, right? Because they end up getting born early, and so sometimes they're in the NICU, and it's like a very medically fragile situation. And so the other thing that's confusing to me about this couple is that, like, and to be clear, I don't know if they had legal paperwork drawn up or not, but like, what's the fucking game plan here if, like, for example, one of the babies doesn't survive, or both of the babies don't survive, or like they have to be in the NICU for an extended amount of time? Like, do you have any fucking legal paperwork to prove that you are the adoptive parents and that you're allowed to be around these babies? Because otherwise, like, you can't be in the delivery room, you can't be in the NICU, you can't see your kids. So like, what's the plan? Just to show the fucking security guard at the hospital your Instagram DMs? Like, like, I just don't. That's the other thing about it that's like confusing. Like, why would you not insist on going through an adoption agency or like having some kind of official legal plan in place? Because like, also too, I'm assuming now at this point they're just like up shit creek, right? Like, they probably can't do anything about the fact that she scammed them.
I think they did want her to do all that, and they were trying to get her to, but I think it's also, when somebody's going to give you their children that they're carrying, I think they also felt very indebted to her, and they felt weird about, like, I know that makes sense to us, but like some people are like so worried about turning somebody off to them or something. And like, that would be like saying we don't trust you, which I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying you shouldn't trust a stranger with stuff like that, especially legal agreement. I mean, we trust each other, and we wrote and we signed contracts before we started a podcast. And we trust each other, and we still signed our name to documents saying we wouldn't, you know, do certain things in the event of other certain things. Right. Yeah. Exactly. And so also, like, it's totally fair, but I can understand that. I think they got lost in the plot. I think they lost the plot a little bit. Yeah. And I think they were so ingrained in it and just so hopeful that I think they just kind of were like letting her get away with whatever because
and, like,
they were so grateful.
I don't want to like look down my nose necessarily, because like you were saying, it's really easy to like talk about it when you're not emotionally involved.
Right.
And also, to be clear, I am child-free by choice. Like, I don't want to have babies. I don't really like relate to that experience of like feeling devastated about not having, or like that like adoption not going through or whatever. Like, I just don't, I don't get that. So like, that's an important disclaimer. But also too, like, the thing that like sticks out to me is like kind of what I said earlier about how like I wish that they had done some kind of formal grief processing or like therapy or something, because the reality is that like for you and me with the podcast, if you had said, I'm not doing this podcast with you if you're going to make me sign a contract, I'd be like, okay, well, we're going to be friends then.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's fine.
Yeah.
We don't need to have a podcast then.
Yeah.
It's no big deal. Like, we can both start our own separate podcasts or like, you know, whatever. Like, we just won't have one.
Right.
And so, like, I just don't understand the decision to be like, it's fine, you know?
I know.
Because, like, the reality is that there are
always get stuff on paper.
Well, and also too that there are thousands, hundreds of thousands probably of children in foster care, in other like adoption agencies that are like in desperate need of a safe home, you know? And so like I think that's also the thing that pushes my buttons is like the sort of like boutique baby thing, like the we want to adopt but only in these very specific circumstances thing. That like, okay, like I hear that, but also, you know, like if you
can't control the outcome if you have a biological child.
And also like if you
know?
are going to be so committed to, we only want to adopt newborn babies, ideally twin babies and ideally twin girl babies, then like you made the choice to put yourself in this like risky situation, you know, because like you could have said if you don't want to sign this contract or you don't want to go through the agency or like if you don't want to put some kind of formal agreement on paper to make sure that you're not a scammer, then like
that's true,
that's part of that risk that they took on. And again, not that anyone ever deserves to be traumatized or taken advantage of, that's not fair, but also again,
but not deserving it, they're still like responsible for I guess some of their actions of not doing due diligence.
Yeah. I just wish that they had done some like therapy work around like grieving the infertility stuff.
That's a really good point.
I feel like that would have helped them be in a more conscientious place when making this decision about like, do we want to move forward with this? Oh, no.
Sorry.
You're fine. I'm glad it's not just me. Winnie's having a meltdown.
No, we have a lot of
issues.
Right. Yeah. It's like, I can't wait to move out of here. I have 2 other neighbors moving like in the last few days. And then the people across the hall, I think their washer and dryer must have crapped out because we live on the 3rd floor and there's been workers bringing up new washer dryers on a dolly up 3 flights of stairs. And let me tell you, and it's not like a half an hour of ka-thunk, ka-thunk, all the way up the stairs. And then they're opening and closing the door. And Winnie's very anxiety. So poor thing. Yeah. So anyway, but unless you have other thoughts on that, we have about 10 or 15 minutes left. Okay. And I'm going to talk about the fun topic.
Ooh, fun.
End on a lighthearted note.
Yes.
And I can't remember if I've actually mentioned this to you before in private before. Sorry, did you have any more thoughts about that? I feel like that's about...
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's mostly it. I know that adoption is kind of a contentious issue for some people.
Yeah.
And I do want to be clear that, like, you and I by no means are the authority about, like, what's the right way to adopt or wrong way or whatever.
No.
Like, neither of us have done that. Neither of us are experts in that field. So, like... we're open, I guess, to like hearing other people's perspectives. But, you know, like that's just
totally
my
hard agree.
Off the dome opinion about
I think I just found that story so fascinating because on the surface, it just seems like, oh my God, that's terrible that happened to them. And it is terrible that it happened to them. But like when you start looking at the other details of the story and like her being the creator of an MLM is just like, a couple things just kind of like make me side eye a little bit.
Yes.
Just kind of like,
yes,
what else is going on there?
100%.
Okay. Do you want to talk about watertok with me for a few minutes?
Yes. I'm surprised that you know what watertok is.
I'm so excited. Okay. I guess I've been watching some videos on it. I've watched, oh my God. Do you watch Curtis Connor?
No.
Do you know who he is?
If I do, I don't know who that is. Like, I've never heard that name before.
He's hilarious. He makes fantastic videos. It helps that he's a comedian, but he is so funny. So he made a video on this and I've just been like engrossed in this or whatever. So I would love to just talk about it for a few minutes if you're down. I didn't know how familiar you were with it, but have you been following like the controversy around it?
A little bit. I don't think I'm like fully on watertok, but I am certainly aware of some of the drama around the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Okay, again, unless you live under a rock, most people probably know what it is, but I'll explain it anyway.
Fair enough.
Watertok is this niche on TikTok primarily of these typically women. Almost all of them are women, but I've seen various ages. I've seen anywhere from like 20s to 60s doing this.
Okay.
And they basically like got bored of drinking water, but they want to drink more water.
Yes.
So instead of drinking plain water, which gets boring, and like some people have a really hard time drinking plain water, which I can relate to, like your throat, like it feels weird on your throat sometimes if you're not thirsty enough for it, you know?
Sensory issues.
So people started flavoring their waters, but it's not just like the Neo drops or whatever. Like it started out with kind of like Liquid IV is a good example of a start, which I know you have mixed feel. I love Liquid IV. Like I drink Liquid IV almost every day. Still not sponsored. I've been sponsored by them, but this is not sponsored.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying I legitimately love their product.
Yeah. That's fair.
And it helps me drink more water. I like that they have electrolytes in it or whatever. But it kind of like snowballed from there because now if you go in the store, at least in a lot of grocery stores in America, I don't know about other countries, but there's just like rows and rows and rows of things like Liquid IV, but not. So it's like Skittles has a flavor,
like
Starburst,
Crystal Light kind of stuff, but like all
kind of
different
like
flavors
Crystal
and
Light,
brand
but it's
names.
powder, and they come in little Liquid IV looking packets. But everybody under the sun has a flavor. Like I'm shocked Reese's peanut butter cups hasn't come out with one yet. Honestly, like
it's like ew.
I know. So far, it's all been like fruity candy, but it's like Skittles, Starbursts, all these things, and then these people have, again, mostly women, have collected it to the point where they have just like, it's their hobby. They have collections of all of these different flavors, and then they have fun drinking their water, always in a Stanley cup, by the way. It's always a neutral colored Stanley cup, 100% of the time. And they put ice and water in their Stanley cup, and then they spend like, they're like, okay, then they film them making different concoctions. So they're like figuring out how to make like a gummy bear one, and like making like these really creative flavors with it. So have you watched any of the videos? Because I have a few videos to share.
Rarely, I don't know that I've ever seen an actual like unironic watertok video. I've seen a lot of people do parodies. I've seen a lot of like sort of jokey, you know, like satire situations, but I don't know that I've ever watched someone seriously be like, this is my little water drink for the day.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I have to show you some because I'm going to insert some in the podcast.
Okay, great.
The first one we're going to play for you is, her name's Tonya on TikTok. I adore Tonya. She has the energy that I can only aspire to have.
All right.
So she's fantastic. Okay, I just sent it to you.
Okay, great.
Let me know when you got it, and
I just
then
got it.
watch it, and then I'll insert it in
my second water of the day, and it is 11:55. So I'm cruising with the water goes today. Let's go to the old caddy. These are my favorites down here, so I'm just going to pick one. Not even going to look. Let's see. What are we going to get?
Water roulette situation.
Ooh, crushed pineapple. One of my faves. What are we going to add it with? All right, let's go to the water bar. What's it going to be, y'all? Whoop! Dragon fruit acai.
Oh, we're doing syrup.
Coconut. Let's do that. 2 pumps of the coconut syrup. Mama's trying to have a pina
sorry,
colada.
I didn't tell you that.
3.
That's like the whole
pineapple
other half
packets.
of it.
I'm mixing that up. A new
What's
cup just
going
came.
on?
I literally cannot wait to open that Simple and Modern cup. It's 40 ounces also. Let's give this a go.
Okay.
Unironically.
If you like pina colada. And I do, baby.
Oh, okay. All right. My God.
Isn't she amazing though? I love her.
Well,
She's she'd be fun at parties.
I've seen people talk about the syrups too.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that.
But I didn't realize, I thought that was like people exaggerating. I didn't realize that they were actually putting like multiple pumps of multiple syrups in their water.
So typically it's a powder and then they like go to their syrup carousel.
Yeah.
And it's all the skinny zero sugar syrups because they want to make the water zero because otherwise it's not water.
Which
to
like
them.
fair.
Right.
I personally have been victimized by the Skinny Girl brand as a fat
Yes.
person, so fuck all that.
Totally fair. Yes, I totally understand that.
Yeah, okay.
But for them, if you don't mind aspartame, the flavor then is really good for people that are okay with that. So so they mix and match all these different things, and like Tanya, for example, made she's like, I'm gonna make a pina colada today, because she made it kind of into a game where she picks out a random one without looking, and then she finds a syrup to match it and stuff. Yeah, and it's just wild. So I know it seems silly that we're even talking about this, but like literally if you go to like the comment section, the first comment is like, juice, you're drinking juice. Like people be mad. People are big mad about women making their water flavored, and they're just like, this is just Kool-Aid with aspartame, this is just juice, like why don't you just call it, like they're actually mad that they're calling it water.
Oh god.
And that is so, to be clear, my opinion on it is that I don't give a shit how you drink your water.
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
don't care. Why do people care about this? Go off. If that's how you want to live your life, I don't care.
Okay, so like I agree with you.
I'm gonna send you the second one while you're talking.
I agree with you, but also at the same time, there is a part of me that like is a little bit annoyed by it. I think because like, this is one of those things where like thin white women get away with doing shit like this, and nobody, or I guess not nobody, but like thin white women will like write this off for themselves as being like, this is totally fine, right? But then like, God forbid there is a fat person that does this, or anybody basically who's not a like thin white cis hetero person does this, and then all of a sudden we're really concerned about people's health. You know what I'm saying? Like it just, I think I feel
like you should wait before the next video because there's a lot of fat women doing this as well.
Okay.
But the problem, I don't know if you're going to be happy with that either, because then a lot of, because then it's a little diet culture. Yeah. So I don't know if you're going to.
Okay. Let me watch this.
Right. Because it's got, so watch this next one, because this one's pretty fantastic, actually. But there's her neutral Stanley cup.
Okay, let's go. Hi, Internet. Let's make our final water of the day. To preface, this is actually not my recipe. This is Sweet But Snarky's recipe for birthday cake water. So I've been trying to buy the birthday cake skinny syrup forever, and it's been sold out. I don't know if they're not making it anymore, but apparently this water tastes similar, so I'm really excited to try it. Per usual, grab your favorite 40-ounce cup. I'm using my Stanley, 35 ounces of water and about 5 ounces of ice, or whatever to your preference. Now for the syrups, we're going to be using cotton candy. So you're going to do, I like it sweet, just a warning, but I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 pumps of cotton candy. Now the next syrup for the cake flavor, you're going to use vanilla almond. Do 1, 2, 3 pumps of the vanilla almond. Okay, you know the drill. Mix until all of those flavors are combined. I just really love how beautiful the cotton candy syrup makes this water. It's so cute. Okay, now time for the taste test. I'm so excited about this one. Oh my gosh. Happy birthday to me. This is so good.
Okay, so listen, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. I think I probably would be less annoyed about it, honestly, if they weren't using skinny syrups. Like, I don't know if she was using the skinny ones, but if we weren't like, I think part of me is just annoyed.
But the powders are the same thing.
What do you mean? Like the same thing?
They're
as the
also
syrups, or?
fakes. Like they're also like 0 calories, except Liquid IV. Liquid IV has calories in it.
Yeah.
But like most of them are also.
And like, to be clear, I don't really give a shit like if this is how you get water or like fluids in, especially for people with sensory issues and all of that stuff. Like, that's none of my business, right? I think part of my annoyance though is that like, I guess I just wish that these people, or like just other people generally, would also adopt this attitude about like when a fat person posts themselves eating a cheeseburger, or like when a fat person posts themselves drinking a milkshake, right? Like, we're fine to say, like, not you, by the way, I'm not talking about you, I know that you're not this way, but
I know. Yeah,
we're fine to say, like, just leave people alone and let people have things when it's like thin white women. But when it's not, then all of a sudden there's this like collective pearl clutching that happens
Ew.
about people's health and like, this is disgusting and how could you do this? Like, ew, that's not like,
stop promoting this.
yes. And also like, that's not
I'm
even
literally
real
living my life.
food, right? Like people do this also with people who eat fast food and people who eat processed food. It's like a very like rich white take of like, if you feed your kid processed macaroni and cheese, you're abusing them and like all this crazy stuff, you know? So I guess maybe my annoyance is that like, that's fine, Tonya, if you want to drink your pina colada water, that's none of my business. But I wish the people who were saying like, leave Tonya alone would also say that about other people who are eating from the dollar store, fat people who are eating whatever they want, like people generally who are just making their own decisions about their own intake in their own lives, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's more
to be
so
fair.
that.
In this particular case, I think people are defending pretty much anybody doing it.
Yeah.
No matter their body size. I understand your point, but like,
That's
I
fair.
don't think people are like, I mean, I could be wrong. I'm sure somebody is, but I don't think that anybody's being like telling, you know, I don't know the motives for the people in bigger bodies doing it this way, but
That's
also I just want to say there is something about like, if you can't, like you said, to get your fluids in, if you can't drink plain water, you don't like plain water.
Yeah.
I have that problem too. I personally just like sparkling water though. Like that's
Same.
mostly what I drink.
Yes.
But I do understand, like, even if there's like, if that's how you want to drink your water and it needs to be sweet, like it's also kind of like, it's not always a diet thing. It's also just like a not wanting to drink that much sugar in a day thing, because a lot of sugar, like that much, that could be a lot of extra sugar in your day, which can make people feel crappy. So the last TikTok I sent you was a girl who was talking about the aspartame controversy. I don't know if you want to watch that one too. We're running out of time here, but it was interesting because she was like defending aspartame basically.
Okay, I'm an aspartame hater just because I hate the fucking taste of it.
I know, but you hate the
this.
taste, right?
Yeah.
She says that. Yeah. No, she addresses you too.
Okay, I want to watch this.
Okay, do it.
Okay, hold on.
Let's just talk about the elephant in the room. If you've been on watertok lately, then you've likely seen the comment section filled with talk about aspartame. It's a widely used artificial sweetener that's used in a lot of diet foods, including the little drink packets that you see floating all over TikTok. You'll see tons of radical claims like aspartame causes cancer or it's poison, all of which are unfounded. I've been using these little drink packets for years to make loaded teas, so this is not my first run-in with the aspartame
tiny
shamers.
hair straightener.
You see a lot of clickbait headlines and opinions shared on social media, but hundreds of studies have shown that aspartame is safe. Like with anything, moderation is key, and too much of anything can be bad. There's something called ADI, which stands for Acceptable Daily Intake. When it comes to aspartame, that intake amount is 50 milligrams per every 1 kilogram of your body weight. Like, well, what does that mean? So if you weighed 150 pounds, you could have roughly 17 diet sodas per day and still be within that ADI. Now, maybe you're someone who just doesn't like the taste of it, or you have the rare condition called PKU, where you cannot have aspartame at all, which I totally get. But most of the comments that you see are coming from a place of ignorance, misconception, or just simply repeating something they heard or read somewhere. When I see those types of things happening in my comment section and on my page, I do feel like I have a responsibility to address those things, not shy away from them, and I need y'all to know that I'm not out here just shooting from the hip. I am one half of a team here at Silver Lining Lessons with my husband, who has a background in science and a master's degree, and everything that we do is thoroughly researched. We share factual information, we are transparent, and that is something we pride ourselves on. With all of that being said, if aspartame is something that you don't like or just prefer to avoid, we have and will continue to share aspartame-free options and
Brought
recipes.
to you by Spindrift.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I personally take the approach that like the particulars of people's nutrition and dietetics is none of my good goddamn business, right? Like, I don't have a nutrition or dietetics degree. I am wholly ill-equipped to be making definitive claims about what amounts of food or substances are safe for people to consume. So, like, I don't know that I really care necessarily about people consuming, like, extra sugar or extra aspartame.
I think I bring it up just because that's a big part of the whole controversy.
Is that why people are mad?
People are mad that your drink, then they're like, see, it's the same vein as like telling fat person not to eat a burger.
Yes.
Or like if they drink a normal soda.
Yes.
A non-diet soda, then they're like, you shouldn't be drinking that. But then if they drink diet, then it's like,
okay, I'm tracking.
then
with
it's
you
like
now.
that's
I hear
that
what
you're just
saying.
poisoning yourself.
Yes, I
and
hear what
so
you're saying.
that's part of the whole
I feel like
controversy.
I get more now what you're saying because like big yes, like why don't you just fuck off and like not concern yourself with what someone's putting in their body, because like A, it literally doesn't affect your life, and B,
Right.
if it does end up hurting them, then like that's their burden to bear. It's not yours, you know? And like it's different if somebody is like saying like, oh my gosh, you can lose so much weight by drinking all this aspartame or whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or like feeding their fucking kids a diet of like solely Starburst water. Like that's different. You know what I'm saying? Like subjecting people who don't want to do this to like, you know, their weird sugary water. But like if someone just wants to drink cake batter flavored water, like it's not really any sweat off of anyone's back, you know, like who cares?
It's such a weird thing. It's such a weird hill to plant your flag in to me.
I will
it's
say,
just
though,
such a weird thing to comment about. Like, why is there I think it's the fact that there's controversy around water talk at all.
Yes. Well, okay, so like two things. I know we're running out of time, but just really quick. First of all,
you're fine.
I think the thing that like comes up for me, or like it's important to address here, is that it feels a little bit like the thing where like women can't have anything, right? Like women, femme presenting people, like basically anybody who's not a cis het white man gets the shit end of the stick when we talk about hobbies, interests, like things we're passionate about, things that we care about, right? Because this is like a thing that you just can't win at, right? Like if you're a woman who really enjoys like cinema and film, then men are like, oh yeah, well, have you heard of this director? Like, what do you think about this person? Ew, you have bad blah blah blah. But if you're a woman who doesn't care about film or cinema, then like, oh my god, I can't believe that you don't care about real art. It's like
you're uncultured. Yeah.
Yes, it's that thing where like if women have any hobby, then like there's this patriarchal misogynistic take about it somewhere about how like you're doing it wrong, or like the thing where like if you wear a Nirvana t-shirt, like, oh well, do you really know any of their songs? Have you heard this like deep cut from this unreleased album? Like, piss off, man. Like
I had a guy once. I was wearing a Grateful Dead shirt one time, and this guy at the store said that to me. He literally says, do you actually like them, or are you just in it for the shirt?
What if I am?
And I was like, first of all, I've been listening to the Grateful Dead since I was literally born.
Yeah, you were a baby.
I have been to more Dead shows than that guy probably has ever been, you know? Like not to be fair, Jerry Garcia died when I was like 3. So like, but Dead shows of people getting anyway.
Yeah.
I know more of their music than the average person does. The fact but even if I didn't, it's that same thing where it's like, why the fuck does it
let me
why
be a
do you
fashion
feel
girly
so much like I know you feel so much better about yourself. Okay, my favorite example of what you were just talking about too is gaming. My favorite example, because I'm not a gamer, you are a gamer, right? And I hate that like whole, if you are a gamer, then guys are like, oh guys, they really want somebody because then they can hang out and game with you, and you're really cool if you game with them. But then if you that if you do like it, but then if you also like it, then you're a woman who likes gaming and you don't actually know anything about gaming.
Yes. Yeah. Or you're a poser, or you only like girly games. Like you're not a gamer girl.
Or you're a pick-me girl.
Yes. Yes. You literally can't fucking win.
You cannot win.
Also, just as a side note, I do feel like this does raise an interesting conversation about at what point does something become not water anymore, right? Because like soda,
I think that's also the question.
Soda is like it starts as water and you just put syrup in it, which then makes it soda. So like are
diet
they just,
soda,
but like cream soda and like Italian sodas, right, are just like essentially those syrups with sparkling water. Yeah. So are they just drinking flat soda? Like, not again, it doesn't matter.
Coffee
it's
is
fine.
just bean water.
Yes. And also when you put a whole bunch of milk in it, then at that point, like, are you really drinking coffee? Like, does it really count? Like,
I think,
you know what I'm saying? And like, again, I have no vested interest in like finding a real answer to this question, but I do feel like it's interesting that like, because if you put like liquid IV, most people agree you're still drinking water, right? If you squirt like the little Neo electrolytes, you're still drinking water, right? Pedialyte. Now we're sort of in a weird territory where like
Gatorade.
It's water.
Is Gatorade
sort of,
water?
But it's like not though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, I just am also kind of interested in like where is the line between like water and now it's like soda or juice.
People are mad is because they're calling it water.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's not water. But it's like, why do you care what they call it? What else are they supposed to call it? Their drink? Like, they could call it that, but they want to call it water.
Also, too, it's not like adding sugar to water means, well, actually, I don't know if this is true, but I don't think adding sugar to water means that the water is, like, not useful to you anymore, right? Like, you're still adding hydration into your body, right?
Yes. Eating watermelon is basically sugar and water, and your watermelon's extremely hydrating.
Yeah, you're still hydrating your body. So also, like, what's
soda,
the beef?
If you were on a desert island and you didn't have access to water, you could you're gonna die within a couple weeks without water. But if you had a 12-pack of Coke,
fair point,
you're gonna last longer than no water at all.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah,
you're still hydrating yourself through fruits, vegetables.
Yeah. And like, granted, some things are diuretics, right? Like coffee, tea, whatever. But also too, those things are still adding hydration. You just need to like compensate for that on the back end to like drink more water to replace what you're probably going to pee out because it makes you pee more, Yeah. So like, in a way,
if I didn't have access to water, I would gladly drink coffee.
Yeah. Same. Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't know. Yes. I feel like it is kind of the like women can't have thing.
Yes. Right.
Because also too, if it were men doing this, granted women would still make fun of them, but like if it were men doing this, where they're putting like, I don't know, actually pre-workout is a good example of this.
That
like,
is a good,
men don't tell each other like, man, you're drinking juice when they drink their little pre-workouts, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, totally.
So I feel like it is kind of, it has a misogynistic flair.
The whole thing reminds me of I think what you said on a live stream one time when we were doing Love is Blind live stream. You said this on a live stream one time about the whole Zineb and who was her fiance's name? Cole. And how you just put it so beautifully at the end of that, where you were just like, can we all just like trust that other adults can do what's best for their own body and they know what's best for their own body, and that we can all trust that even if, no matter who it is, your partner, your family, whatever, if it's another adult, like they can take care of themselves. Don't worry about it. Worry about your own body. Worry about what you're putting in your own body, and you can put whatever you want in your own body. But like they can, like trust that you don't need to give them advice about what they should and shouldn't be eating. Yes. And I just think that it reminds me a lot of that, where it's just fair. Like there. And also I just think it's so, as a whole, the community has so much fun with each other. It's such a cute community. I just love that they have these big colorful collections of water packets, and then they share ideas and they share recipes. Like it's just amazing to me that people could still be mad about that.
I was thinking about it too while you were talking, and actually I feel like that's a good point, that like also too, even if they were like going overboard, right, and like putting a whole bottle of syrup or whatever, like
some of them do,
but also like let people have things, man. It's none of my business. Like I don't want to drink that
things.
Oh well, like I'm sure if they're not properly hydrating, it's gonna bite them in the ass anyways, but like it's not my problem. Right. I'm just gonna like, I'll just not put syrup in my own water. Problem solved.
Venture to say most doctors would rather you drank some form of water over being dehydrated, because being dehydrated messes up every other system of your body. And like that other TikTok we said, it's actually like the aspartame thing. Like, no, aspartame is not like eating vegetables. Like it's not like fantastic for you, but people act like it's poison. Yeah. And you would have to drink quite a bit of it for it to actually, for most people, to actually physically harm you. So it's just, the whole thing is just so fascinating to me. I love cultural shit like that.
Yeah, it feels like the MSG thing too, where people are like, oh my God, it's so bad for you. And like, literally it's not.
Nitrates.
It's fucking not. Yeah. Like it literally is just fucking like salt, basically. It's like flavoring. Yep. Die mad about it. Like if you don't want to eat MSG, then don't.
Or like, don't eat processed food. That's so processed. So is your turkey bacon. Your turkey bacon's processed,
But
FYI.
also, like, literally any food that gets handled by people or machines
At all.
is considered processed. Like, it doesn't mean what you think it means. Like, it literally is just a term to refer to the fact that it's not like a fucking apple that's been plucked from a tree. You know what I'm saying?
Like, right from a tree.
Yes. Ugh. People
Yeah.
are so annoying.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe that's our things
Okay,
we hated for today is the, like,
I think we got to wrap it up. We've been talking for a while, but we could talk about this for forever. So I just
thanks for sharing that with me, Hannah.
Well, you're welcome. I had 0 topics this morning.
Nice.
And now by the time I got to the podcast, I was like, now I have 2 things I want to talk about. But it didn't feel like I could fill like quite a full hour of talking about water talk. But
yeah, that's valid.
So, all right.
All right.
That's episode 7.
Thanks, everybody.
Let's wrap her up. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Yeah.
Leave us reviews if you feel so inclined.
Yes. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to our channel or to subscribe or follow on whatever platform you're listening because it helps us a lot. So thanks for being here.
Yes, if you're liking the show. It's also just annoying that when you're on Apple Podcasts, if you don't subscribe to a show and you just listen to the episodes, it just disappears.
Yes.
In the app if you don't subscribe to it. So you might as well just subscribe to it
Yeah.
if you want to know.
Then
when
you
new
don't have to
episodes
search
come out.
for it every week, you know?
Right. So, okay, everybody.
All right.
We will see you all next week.
Thanks for coming. See you next week.
Hopefully, I think the next time you guys hear from us, Mickey and I will both be slightly
Less
more calm-headed, more even.
Yeah.
So. All right.
All right. See you next week.
Okay. Bye, everybody.